So here's my old school Hardinge HLV. It's not an HLVH, it's just an HLV. It's got a narrow bed on it, so parts are really, really hard to come by. I got this from a guy who owns a machine shop here local to me. It sat in a pole barn for like 15 years, and I called him up one day and I was like, hey, I'm looking for a smaller lathe. I saw you had one out there. Let me know if you're interested in getting rid of it. And he never really got a hold of me. It was like a month or a month and a half before I finally heard from him, and I ended up getting it for a really, really good price. He told me it ran fine when he put it in the pole barn. The wiring cabinet was a big mess in it. It says that it ran on 220 3-phase. Since I've gotten it home, I've had this in my garage for probably over a year now. But I did a lot of looking into it, and it actually runs on 460 3-phase. So I've got a phase converter and a transformer step up to 460. So it's kind of a big thing. But I have a set of collets, and I've got these collet racks here, but I've got one of these. I'm gonna probably plasma cut another one out of aluminum, but I've got one, so I took that one to model off of, and then there's another drawer on the bottom, but this one never had one in it. But I'll probably run you through the process of how I measured the other plate that I have here to hold my collets, because right now I just have them in a metal case. They seem to be pretty good. I had to deburr most of them before I could really use them. Here's the case of collets I have. I got them from Haas, but it's a full set of collets. I am missing this one here right now. I have it somewhere. I just don't know where it's at. But it goes all the way from 1/16 of an inch all the way up to, I believe, an inch and an eighth. Can't see that. So an inch and an eighth, and it goes up by 60/4. So there's 69 collets in here. This case is really heavy. It's kind of a goofy thing to try and hold on to or keep around when you're trying to move things, or when you're trying to actually machine something. You're like, hold on, let me get the case. So I'm going to get these two racks going back together. Over here, this is what that collet rack looks like. So this is the one that was already in there. So I took this off, I modeled it all out, and I'll run you through that process, probably do a time lapse of the model on it too. So I've got all these holes here. I think these are inch and 5/16 holes. These are 11/16. This one up here, these two up here are 1/2 inch. And then these are all 1/4 inch holes here. I've got 4 of them. This is what actually mounts it to the cart or the carriage drawer, or whatever you want to call it, in the machine. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So here's after the cut. I just got my plasma table up and running, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago. Still fairly new to how plasma cutting works. The machine I got seems to work pretty well. I cut with a Hypertherm 45 XP. It gets a little bit of dross on the back. A lot of this stuff kind of just comes off pretty easy though. A lot of the stuff like right here I can just kind of fold off by hand. I don't even have to really use a tool on it. I am going to go around each hole with one of these little whirly deburr tools. I don't even know what these things are called. I think I got that on Amazon. But yeah, I'll catch back up.
Really nice.
Alright, so we're back after cleaning it up. I ran around the outsides with that little whirligig deburr tool. I'm not sure what those are called. Some of the holes do have some weird areas on the bottom. You can kind of see in some of those where there's kind of a flat spot, like there's a little bit of a flat spot like right here. The collets do fit through them though, so that works really good. I just cleaned up the surface of it with I think some 60 grit on a DA after I deburred it, just so it looks a little bit better. And then you probably noticed that these holes weren't here in the last little bit of the video. They were too small. I didn't want to cut those with the plasma cutter, so I just had those marked out off of this one. I just templated this one right over top of it. I actually have the measurements for where they go, but figured I'd go simple on that and just use some transfer punches to get the holes in there. So I just transfer punched them, drilled them out, and then I have counterbores in there for the heads of the screws to sit nice and flush. Just have the two countersunk screws right up on that frame. They pull out, so you can just pull them out, push both drawers back in, and go back to work. Now, what does bug me is I didn't realize that, I didn't think about it when I was doing this, but there's 32 holes in each one of these. So I've got 32 collets on the top, 32 collets on the bottom. That gives me 64, so I have 5 more collets out of my 69 piece set that I don't have room for. So what I'm going to do is just take all the smallest ones. The biggest one that I'm going to take out is an 1/8. I'll just probably put them in a box and keep them over here in one of these little spaces so I have them. Because you don't really use collets down that small very often. I think an 1/8 inch is about as small as you really want to go. So, but yeah, so it cleaned up pretty good. Looks really good. Holds the collets really nice. They come out. They go in really easy. Stop. I'm really hoping the aluminum doesn't kind of mar the taper surface on these guys and start making a buildup on it. That would be a giant pain in the butt. But I guess we'll kind of see as time goes by.